What you say? Woke up in the morning, broke all my chains. Money's my language, but I'm nobody's slave. Open my eyes, see the crabs in the barrel. Cause I'm on the rise, an American pharaoh.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, 1 2 9 7 as in episode 97. What's going on, everybody? Another episode of the A-League show. We in here. How's everybody doing? How's everybody going? I'm in here, Keem Balaam. We got Jeremy up in here. Got Rashad up in here. How's everybody?
Yeah, is that the new intro? I heard it last week. And then I was like, I guess this is gonna be the thing for every episode.
I try to change it up from week to week. Like I come up with different stuff. I come up with the stuff in my sleep, man.
Okay, I hear you, Keem. But I'm doing well. You know, thankful it's Sunday morning. Got to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for waking me up this morning. I remember that Dimitri shouted out God the last time, or one of the times he came back. Yeah. And I was like, dang, we haven't done that in a couple weeks. So I just wanted to be the one to say that this week. And yeah, man, it's been cool making the transition to spring sports.
Yeah.
We got like 6 sports and 6 schools. So that's like 36 sports.
And you got parents calling.
And parents calling when you didn't cover their 30,
and coaches,
one
man.
of their 36.
And coaches, man, because it's like, oh, you didn't come to the game to cover my, like, hey, like, there's only a few of us. Like we can't be in multiple places in one day. Like if we could, we would clone ourselves and be at 3 or 4 sports every single day.
Well, you know what, Hakeem? I have been. I have literally been. I went to a school one time, man, and
Wow, you really?
I went to one game, and I was at that game. I waited till halftime, and I left that game. I went to another game on the same campus.
What?
Went over to that game. Covered that game, came back to the other game, finished covering that game, got done with that game, went to an entirely different school the same night and covered another game, and then covered a game after that.
Yeah, well, you know what that is.
What?
That's artwork right there. got any art? Got any art? As long as you get art, it's all right. Just be there 5 minutes. Just get one good one for art that we can use as art for Monday, and we should be good.
And give a call.
I'm starting to wonder, man. I'm shot after Jeremy just said that. I'm starting to wonder if this is the only Jeremy. Like I'm really starting to wonder if there may be maybe 3 or 4 Jeremy Johnsons running around Athens and Watkinsville.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of me. So.
That must be what it feels like. And you know, just as a side, also this also happens to be this also happens to be with episode 97. We're only 3 episodes shy of the big 100 dudes.
100.
100.
3 years, man.
Wow.
I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, you just never know, man.
You just never know, man. We gonna get there. We getting to episode 100. We coming for that. We coming for that century mark. So that's all good. You know, also a few days before Valentine's Day. It don't mean nothing to me.
I don't know. I don't know why you said it like that, Keem. Like,
you said like it's a bad thing.
Hey.
Like, it don't mean nothing to me because I'm on the market. I'm on the market. Like out of the 3 of us,
Drake thought that was the one.
Yeah.
Drake thought that was the one, man. He said, "I bought this." Michael Jackson vocals.
Oh,
this
man.
one going.
This is gonna be a smash.
No, sir.
That's what's gonna be.
No,
I can't.
Like I got the playlist already and everything, but you know, for the most part, I ain't got any plans. I don't know if you have any plans either, unless you know what's going on.
Well, you know, Thursday is if one of my team win on Monday, then Thursday would be the Final 4 of private schools. So I'll be down in Montgomery. Yeah.
Already?
Yeah. Private schools, like they finish earlier because it's like.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay.
So private schools already in state tournament. They're in like quarterfinals right now.
Right.
And
all
then,
the private schools and all the Christian schools.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Semifinals on Thursday and then finals on Saturday.
And they start a lot earlier than.
Yeah. And then, you know, Alabama in general is kind of a little earlier because state for public schools starting on Monday.
Oh, so they split them up and let them have their own like time period.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, I mean, because you know, there's the well, I don't know how it is in Georgia. I think it's the same, but you know, you have the Alabama Independent School Association.
Yeah,
that's for private schools, and then you have the AHSAA.
Right,
no,
which is more the public schools.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, Georgia is 1A private. That's where all the. But then again, like that's where all the small private schools are.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got you got private schools sprinkled throughout like 3A, 4A, 2A. 7A.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They're spread out because you got like the big, like the Blessed Trinities, Marist. What's the other big one? There's another big one I'm missing. Wesleyan.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wesleyan may be 1A. But anyway, those are like they're usually Atlanta based private schools that have a lot of students. So they compete with like the really big big teams in 4 and 5A and 6A.
Isn't Eagles Landing also private?
Yeah, Eagles Landing Christian is private, and they're in 1A.
Oh, okay.
Private.
Gotcha.
I'm not even gonna get into that
because I remember I worked on something once upon a time for the paper down in Jonesboro. I was doing a couple of articles on them, a few years back. But yeah, lots definitely going on. And oh, by the way, pro tip: roses are red, violets are blue. So on Valentine's Day, listen to A-League with your boo. Just remember that. Pro tips. I'm dropping that knowledge. But so,
oh man,
yo,
whoa!
I did not expect that.
I
was like, wow, okay, all right.
Yeah. Now I definitely was thinking of that. I think about these ideas for sure.
But you also know what Valentine's Day, the last couple of years really, but this year especially, it means the start of NBA All-Star Weekend. And at the end of the day, the love of ball. It's all that matters because ball is life.
Ball is life. And
I wish I would go home and say that.
But shout out to everybody who's going. Is anybody going to Charlotte? Well, I know Keem probably going because he's up there.
I'm making plans. I'm definitely making plans, and I may have some. I got some things in the works, and I also have something in the works too that could very well be related to All-Star and Charlotte in the WNBA. So check that out coming up potentially this upcoming week on Beyond the W. So we shall see. Sounds like a plan.
I was going, but I'm not gonna be able to make it.
Oh, okay. Just got some stuff going on.
Yeah. Playoffs.
Playoffs.
Playoffs. That's exactly. I looked at my schedule like right when you guys were talking about it because we were all talking about it growing up as a group, and I was like, that's time of private school like Final Four and stuff.
Oh man.
But man, hey, shout out to all the single people. You know what I'm saying? This is the cliche, corny, positive reinforcement, but I'm going to say it anyway because you might need to hear it. Love yourself first. Make sure you love yourself first.
Facts.
Know that you're worth it. And anybody who has ever said anything negative on your name, forget them. You know what I'm saying? Because you're worth it. Young Milligan.
And that goes for even the people in relationships. Like you can't do nothing for nobody else unless you love yourself because all you're going to do is drag the other person down with you. And that's unhealthy. So, I mean.
Shout out to J. Cole.
Right.
Love yours.
Love yours indeed. Love yours indeed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, another thing. But before we get into it, shout out to Maya Moore.
Hey,
it's on Peachtree Hoops right now. It's live. You know what I'm saying? I talked to Jeremy Lin last night and got him to talk about, Maya Moore's decision. He didn't really say much about it, but I thought it would be interesting to, ask because, Jeremy is such an outspoken Christian himself.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Maya Moore, salute to her, man, to be one of the legends, icons in women's basketball.
Right.
I know she's declined a little bit on the court as far as production goes. She's not the best player on Minnesota anymore. Not the best player in the league anymore, but she's still a legend. And to leave before she was all the way falling off.
This is still her prime.
Yeah, physically speaking, for God, for the Lord, for something that's greater than her. I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You have to ask yourself as a fan, as a spectator, are you willing to give up your lifelong passion to follow Christ?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know many people that will say yes in the heat, in the prime of their careers where they're making the most money they've ever been making.
Exactly.
After all those 6 o'clock practices and all those workout days
and all those those bus trips and all those plane trips,
those days when you wanted to go hang out with your friends and you couldn't because you had practice, and you do all that to reach this spot, and you decide to do that for this cause. That's Hey, that's something. That's big time.
That's admirable.
You gotta applaud that. You gotta applaud that. And then also she's from Gwinnett County, so
right.
we're in Gwinnett right now. Maya Moore, you got a little more time. You know, I know you're working in the ministry.
Yeah.
We could set something up where we're recording on a Saturday and we could get you in the studio. So let us know.
Hey.
Our people going to hit your people. We couldn't get Lexi Brown, but Maya Moore is bigger anyway.
Hey. Pew, 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 pew. Wow.
But Lexi, if he's still trying to get on the show, I mean, like.
And we're going to get Lexi on the show. That's a given. We're going to get Lexi on the show. Just like we're going to get Maya Moore on the show. That's going to happen for sure. Absolutely. That's going to happen. But yeah, there's a lot that was, that was a lot definitely that was going on. And we're going to get to NBA All-Star in just a second. But it just feels different. Like 2 weeks ago, it just seems as though like the whole city was lit up with Super Bowl fever. The whole city was just lit up. Like all you could see was Super Bowl this, Super Bowl that. I mean, even Commissioner Goodell came out today, and not today, but came out recently. I'm all over the place, man.
He's here right now. He's here right now.
He's here right now. I'm all over the place, man. As early as a Sunday, but even he came out and said, like, Atlanta, great job hosting. It was, it was a blast and everything like that. And then the game came, and look, and let's just because we got into it a little bit, and in the group chat and everything too, like. If this was,
I forgot about that.
Oh, I saw it. But if it was one of those, if you're more the type of person that likes to see like 49-42 type games, because I covered a 49-42 type game once upon a time. Like if you just like to see offense and both quarterbacks throwing for at least 400 yards, you probably tuned away from the game after the Maroon 5, excuse-moi, after the Travis Scott and Big Boy halftime show featuring Maroon 5 and Adam Levine as guests.
The Travis Scott sentence. He started Sycamore and then disappeared.
Right.
Where did he go?
I'll be on that. Hey, thank y'all, Atlanta.
Right.
What? Where's the rest of the song?
But he did the ATL chant. That was dope.
That was nice.
But how'd y'all feel like just kind of as black people watching it? I felt really guilty watching it. A lot of like most of the night. I know like I'm a sports journalist and I should know how the Super Bowl went and I should know that thing. But like the entire time just seeing everybody like who's with Cap and like what they were saying and stuff with Angie
Martin. Angie Martinez?
No. I mean like Angie, the civil rights icon. Angela Davis.
Angela Davis.
Gotcha. Angela Davis breaking it down and Common and everybody who said they were with Cap. All the big time conscious celebrities like. I felt guilty watching it most of the night. And especially me since I was starting off boycotting until Eric Reed got signed. But I don't know. I felt guilty. Like, and then especially seeing the Super Bowl halftime show, like the halftime show, it felt a little eerie not seeing Drake come out for Sicko Mode, not seeing Cardi B come out for the Cardi B song they have, and not seeing Andre 3000 come out with Big Boy, and it's obvious the reason why all those artists didn't come, and so just seeing that, I don't know, man. It was weird. It was weird.
Right. I see what you mean by that and everything. I think that, and also there were so many celebrities that came out like Jay-Z. I remember when it was announced that Travis Scott was going to be part of the halftime show, like Jay-Z, I think his people tried to get in touch with Travis Scott's people and tried to, persuade him away from actually, doing the halftime show. Jay-Z rapped himself, and A bleep, like, I say no to the Super Bowl. You don't need me, I don't need you. Like that was a famous line, of course. So he tried to get him to pull out of it, but he didn't. But I just feel like that, for the most part, like the halftime show, like the last really good halftime show that I really remember, in all honesty and truth, was Prince. That was really like one of the last really memorable, like Prince in Miami. Like that was one of the last memorable ones that at least I remember, at least to my memory.
I liked, I think Katy Perry did it one year, and she brought out Missy Elliott.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
I like that because I was kind of mad about Katy Perry because that was a year where it was like hip hop was really starting to take over as the number one, like hands down.
When was that?
That was like maybe.
It wasn't that long ago.
That was the year when she brought out them sharks, and that became a meme.
13?
13 was Beyonce in New Orleans.
Okay.
Because,
that was the
because
power
the
outage.
Falcons should have been in that one.
Yeah. So it must have been 14.
So yeah, it's
because
like
I
14.
didn't really watch that game much. That was who was that? The Seahawks and the Patriots, maybe.
All right, so 13 was
No, it was
13 was the Ravens and
The 49ers.
49ers.
14 was that the Seahawks and the
No.
Broncos?
Seahawks and Broncos. That was 15.
15.
Who
was before that then?
Because
Who knows?
No, I think
No,
New
Cam Newton
Orleans-
was 2016.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah.
New Orleans the Ravens 49ers?
Yeah.
Because that was the game where I think the Ravens had a lead, and then all of a sudden the 49ers started making a comeback, I believe.
Yeah.
It was I'm sorry. It was Seattle and New England.
Seattle and New England.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. No, I got those years wrong. 2015 was definitely Seattle, New England.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because I was in Jared's room to watch it.
I was at school. I was in school still.
I was at Georgia State.
Me too. That was the last Super Bowl that I watched when I was a student, because I graduated in 15.
Yeah, definitely that Super Bowl.
Because I remember that night I put like I was nay-naying and Jared had a box.
Nay-naying.
And
Right.
I flipped the box on my head, and then I nay-nayed. And I was I'll never forget that joint. That was a fun night.
Right. That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, back to the game. Look, you want to say
Hold
anything
on.
about the game? Yeah,
I want to say something about
Okay.
the hip hop people. I did. I see your point. Why you would feel a little guilty about watching the game. I mean, because they definitely didn't handle Travis Scott's performance the way I would have liked them to. If I was Travis Scott, if that was the plan for my performance, I would have just said no. Because like you went against a lot of people who are powerful in hip hop and a lot of people who have done a lot of great things for our community, to stick your neck out and be a part of this, only for them to kind of slight you into, what you will bring to the show. That and Maroon 5 is a big, great artist, and I personally like Maroon 5's music, but Travis Scott isn't a slouch. So
Right.
Doing sicko mode at the Super Bowl didn't help Travis Scott.
No, it didn't.
It didn't bring any more people on to like, man, this sounds like an amazing song. Let me check
right.
it out.
Sicko Mode's a top 50 song in the world.
If
Right.
you didn't know Sicko
And it has
Mode
crossover
before,
appeal.
then Sicko Mode was not for you. Like,
No.
like if
Right.
you're an old white person in a suit at the Super Bowl, you're not like, dang, this song goes hard. Let me check it out. What's it called? Sicko Mode?
Yeah.
That wasn't happening in Atlanta.
Right.
No,
In
I mean,
Mercedes-Benz.
And that song got crossover appeal. It's not just hip hop stations playing Sicko Mode.
Yeah.
It's top 40 that's playing it.
Yeah, but then that even goes with Maroon 5. I don't take Maroon 5 as something a 60-year-old white man's gonna listen to. Yeah. I mean, I like I said, I personally like Maroon 5 as a black man, but it's just because I like their music and they make great music, but that I don't get the whole halftime selection process was weird this year. But I feel like part of it was because of all the boycotts, and they only had a certain
pool of artists that they could pick from.
Right. And I think that kind of arrested their decision, and it kind of forced their hand of what they want. Because I'm pretty sure they wanted to have a lot of hip hop people there.
Oh yeah, in Atlanta for sure.
And they couldn't. With all that being said, I do think some of these people looked hypocritical throughout the whole week because they said, well, we're saying no to the NFL, I'm saying no to the Super Bowl, but they still participated.
I was about to ask that. I was about to ask that
still
as a
hosted-
counter question.
Yeah, like they still hosted parties, they still performed outside of the game, and I know you're not performing under the umbrella of the NFL, but you taking part in that weekend still put money into the whole
City of Atlanta.
It put into the city of Atlanta, but then also the more people you attracted to the downtown during that time, the more money that the event made, which is event put on by the NFL.
Right.
So that means they're going to make money off of it.
When people look back at it in a couple of weeks and they say the Super Bowl weekend brought in this much money to Atlanta, it's going to be because the Super Bowl. Like
Right.
I mean, that's like kind of the gist.
Right.
The
Yeah.
umbrella over it. So like and it was everybody.
Yeah.
Like everybody I named that skipped it, they performed. Like except for
Right.
Andre 3000 and Drake.
Yeah, I don't.
But like and Jay-Z. But Meek hosted a party. Gucci hosted a party. Cardi performed the night before with Robert Kraft.
Robert Kraft.
That had me. I was like, wait, hold on. Like,
if that was the case, why not just perform at halftime?
yeah.
Like you might at that point, like not only are you participating.
You got MAGA best friend next to you dancing.
Right.
Thank you.
Exactly.
So-
and also, she was in one of the most watched commercials.
Yeah.
You see
That
what I'm saying?
Pepsi commercial.
But it was like, okay, you didn't want to perform at the Super Bowl halftime and be seen at the event doing it, where it's the most obvious. But she probably made more money doing it the way she did it than she did if she had performed. The Super Bowl don't pay to perform. I don't think.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think so.
that. I don't think that's.
I've never been asked to perform at the Super Bowl, unfortunately.
I don't think you get paid for that. But those performances that you set up on the outside and those parties you host, you get that money.
Yeah.
I mean, so in that commercial she was in, they paid her to be in that.
Right.
So, I mean, was it really this noble thing where you say, hey, I'm not going to participate and I'm really just not, or was it just, well, I don't want
It's
to
a
do
PR.
that. I don't want to do that for free.
Yeah.
Was that really the thing?
It could've been.
I'm sure it's not for free.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know.
You definitely getting a 15 mil bag. Well,
Right.
The more I think about it, you're definitely getting a bigger
Money.
bag doing the actual Super Bowl than the event she did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
I just think in the long run it was a better investment what she did, because even though you're gonna have a couple people call out what she did, those couple people are much smaller than the amount of people that actually watched the Super Bowl and then saw her go on the stage and was like, I thought she said she was boycotting. So I mean, I think in the long run she saved herself a little bit on the PR side and investment. But I also like, during the week how they did have, we complained about there being a lack of Atlanta recognition, and definitely during the week there was a bunch of Atlanta reunion, Atlanta, bunch of those concerts going on with Budweiser, Bud Light, whoever was throwing it, whatever those beers was throwing it on, with D4L and RP, Shada Low, K Camp, all those guys.
Okay, the Super Bowl does not pay the artists for an appearance fee. They pay for all their expenses for being there, and the stage and all the travel expenses of everybody. And the main reason artists do it is just because they know that over the years people have noticed an increase in sales of their records afterwards. So I mean, it's really kind of you scratch my back, and hopefully this platform will scratch yours.
Right.
So the payment is pretty much the extra boost in sales they get afterwards, which I don't think Cardi or Travis Scott or Jay-Z, like those guys don't. Like Drake
they don't
doesn't
need
it. Like,
Maroon 5 doesn't need it.
Maroon 5 didn't need
Yeah.
it. So
Nobody needs it. But Keem, to your point that you were saying at the beginning, the last memorable performance you can remember was Prince in 2007.
Yeah.
Well, which I didn't really like. I didn't really know any of those songs when he was performing them, except for Kiss. Like
he performed Purple Rain at the end of it. I believe.
He performed Purple Rain and it was raining.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
I remember that. I'll always remember that. I thought that was super cool. But
I mean, to be honest, the Super Bowl halftime show has never been.
But that's what I was about to say.
Uh-huh.
That's what I was about to say. Like literally, think about. Okay, I think Whitney Houston sung the national anthem one year.
Yeah.
And then
92.
Michael Jackson did it in like the 90s.
Yeah.
Other than that, people can't recall many Super Bowl halftime shows. It's not like it was a thing of like, back in the day, every year the Super Bowl show was fire and everybody always remembered it.
I feel like people remember Super Bowl halftime shows. They remember them not necessarily for the performance, but they remember them for the moments. Like everybody and they mamas and they daddies remember what happened with Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson.
And I think that's when the halftime Super Bowl halftime really became a big deal. It was when that happened.
Yeah.
Because personally, before that,
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Michael Jackson. But like, I mean, even that was like, if you want to go to a Michael Jackson concert, you need more than 30 minutes. I mean, these acts don't have time to put together the kind of show that will be memorable. Like they have to rush through their songs. I don't like that. I mean, if I want to hear somebody great perform, and they get these big high profile people to come perform, I want to hear their music and I want to see them perform.
Right.
them coming out singing 15 seconds of a song and then switching and changing suits. I don't want to see that. I'm good.
It feels rushed.
That's rushed. That's not a concert. That's not a performance. That's a chance to go to the kitchen to get some snacks.
Yeah. I see what you mean. So yeah, that's definitely, one of those things that makes it so, so interesting about it. But like I said, I feel like it makes it a lot more memorable in that sense. But what ended up happening after that is that, after the Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson deal, they started catering to an older demographic. And then they started to be like, okay, like we feel like we've catered to an older demographic a little bit enough. Let's skew a little bit younger and start bringing, more contemporary artists. Mm-hmm. So that's just how it,
also
progressed.
tape delay because Travis Scott cussed a couple times during Sicko Mode.
Yeah.
That they bleeped out. He said, because at the gate outside when they.
I saw that.
Well, I mean,
I saw that.
As far as I know, I think there's a 7-second delay.
Yeah, there's definitely a delay.
It's at least 5. I think it is 7.
Just because the FCC?
Yeah,
they have to be able to review it and see it and bleep out whatever.
One of the 3 things that I learned in college.
I know, right? I definitely remember that.
One of the things,
and I don't even remember all of that.
That's why we gave him $40,000.
Yeah. Shoot, exactly. It better have, contributed at least to something, and it definitely has to a certain extent. But yeah, it was definitely, probably the part of for some, it was, if you ask some, it may have been even the part of the whole Super Bowl that may have been probably, dare I say, the most memorable or the most notable. For those, like, as far as the game itself was concerned, I just feel like that the game itself, like, for someone such as myself, who I guess is more of an offensive type of person, it was kind of one of those things that was a little bit of a letdown, because I think, I said 37-24, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. I think I predicted 37-24, but I predicted the Patriots would win. I think that in terms of the game itself, a lot of people was thinking, okay, if I'm going to sit through a game that's going to end, 13-3, at least let the Rams be the one that scores the 13 and gets the W. But of course, it wasn't, it just wasn't that way. But, New England ended up winning. Edelman won MVP at 141 yards. And I just think back to that game, Jeremy, and Brady didn't look his best. But then again, Brady hasn't looked his best in a lot of Super Bowls he's played in.
I mean, this is not the Patriots team that beat the Falcons. This is not the Patriots team that lost to the Eagles last year.
That's not even the Patriots team that beat Carolina.
No, this was the Patriots team when they won that first Super Bowl. This is exactly how they played. And
right.
And quite frankly, I get your point. You expected an offensive game. It was Brady versus, the best offense in the league. Mm-hmm. Obviously, people were going to think, hey, yeah, this is going to be a high-scoring game.
Yeah.
But I want people to sit and think about history. What has history told us? Because history usually happens over and over again. Look back at all of the Patriots Super Bowls. They were playing them back this week, and I sat and I watched a lot of them. Mm. They weren't not much different than that Super Bowl we saw last week.
Facts.
I mean, the Giants game was 17-14.
Low scoring.
That's not exciting.
That game was definitely exciting.
It was at the end. It was at the end. At the end. But if you watch the first 3 quarters of it, it's boring.
I think what made it exciting was the fact that you had New York that was, trying to prevent the undefeated season.
Yeah, it was an upset.
There was a storyline attached to it.
That's where the problem really began.
This Super Bowl had no storyline.
13-3 was just boring to me. Like, I definitely didn't want to see a Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to see a Chiefs-Rams 50-50 Super Bowl, because that offensive performance that pissed me off just as much as a 13-3. To be honest, like I didn't like it because I was like, is nobody gonna get a stop? Like, you know what I'm saying? I want there to be.
It looked like the Pro Bowl. It would have looked like the Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
exactly.
But
21-14, 3 scores. That's good with me. 3 touchdowns, like a 20-something game, 30-something game. Like, that's cool with me. That's my ballpark. Give me to about 17 to 34. Like that's the ballpark I want to see both teams in for an interesting enough game.
Well, you know
what I saw from the 13-3, punt. Like I don't want to see that. I mean that's just me. But this game is 2 weeks old, so I don't want to spend too much time on it.
Yeah.
I'll let you rebuttal.
But my thing is, okay, we say that, But I mean, we say it like we're mad at the team that won, but if I recall, the Rams, it would have been in the ballpark that people wanted to see, and the exciting moment that everybody wanted to see would have happened had the Rams done what they were supposed to. Okay, I'm going to give you 4 examples of plays that would have been like great, big-time moments that would have been, okay, this was a great Super Bowl, because that's all that changed this game from the time the Giants beat the Patriots.
Right.
Okay, Jared Goff's miss Brandon Cooks in the end zone, butt naked open.
That was egregious.
If he catches that ball, the Rams win 17-13.
Right.
If he catches that, he missed. He dropped it.
Right.
Jared Goff missed him. Boom, that's one gone.
Right.
The field goal that was missed early on in the game. Okay, that's points gone right there. That's the Rams' fault.
Right.
The field goal that was missed at the very end. Boom, that's gone. That's the Rams' fault. The interception Brady threw in the first half, the Rams did nothing with. Okay, boom, that's gone. That's
right.
4 plays
wasted
where the Rams had opportunities to put 20. Let's see, 6, 7. I'm not good at math.
Two missed field goals,
and
plus
at least another field goal. That's 9. That's 16 points that just was left out there.
At least 16.
You know what that sounds like? Also in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Also,
sounds like the SEC championship.
Oh man, really? He went there. He went there.
That's exactly what when you said when they left points on the board, 4 big plays. That's exactly what UGA did against Bama.
Man.
But all right, can we move on to trade deadline? We don't have that much time left.
Let's do it.
All right, trade deadline, man. A lot of people felt like staying kind of with the Super Bowl still.
Yeah.
Felt like trade talk dominated Super Bowl week, man. How'd y'all feel about that, first of all, before we get into these trades?
I mean, it's so interesting that you mentioned how the trade deadline pretty much, dominated the week of the Super Bowl, because it's like, we was going into this week thinking like, oh, this week is going to be about the Super Bowl, biggest week, one of the biggest week in sports. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, boom, the NBA is like, we ain't letting you have this week, NFL. No, sir, Dikembe. Like we ain't letting you have this. So, like, trade deadline, like, I was like, Anthony Davis, all that stuff that was going on with Anthony Davis, and the fact that I think that Dell Demps and the New Orleans Pelicans, like, was just demanding so much. Like, I think they may have possibly demanded him to have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in exchange for Anthony Davis. Like, I think he wanted some palm trees. I think he wanted like all sorts of stuff, in exchange for Anthony Davis. But I will say at the same time that in terms of what Dell Demps was requesting, like, that's a franchise player. So I know lots of people are giving, Dell Demps grief, and they're giving Rich Paul grief, and they're giving LeBron James grief, but that's a franchise player. Like, but at the same time, you just also had to understand, you got to get what you got to get for him, because he's going to go in free agency eventually if you don't trade him to Boston.
This time next year, Dell Demps won't have a job. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there.
Whoa.
Because if you walk away in Anthony Davis and you have your franchise's best player, like, it's not even close.
Right.
And you let him walk out of the door for nothing.
Especially after Boogie jumped and went to Golden State.
Like, he walked out for nothing. And you were going to get Kuzma, Ingram, maybe Lonzo, some picks. That's okay. Say all 4 of those guys in 3 years become free agents. None of those guys are going to look at New Orleans. Nobody's going to care about New Orleans in 4 years.
Right. That is true.
I mean, but I'm going to back up. First point, we were saying, how I felt about the NBA trade deadline, taking up all the Super Bowl week. I didn't care that much. I mean, I don't like all the hype leading up to the Super Bowl anyway. I think it's always overblown. It's just like repetitive. It's repetitive. Like,
yeah,
like
the million long hour pregame show.
No, we don't need. I don't. I show up at 6:30 and I just watch the game and then I turn it off when it goes off.
Boom.
I don't. That's for me. That's my Super Bowl experience.
No,
but
I like to watch the post game like trophy.
I watch like
I watch that, but then after that I turn it off.
I watch
like
maybe
watching all the confetti on the field. I just like that.
I'll watch maybe an hour on NFL Network of the post game, and then after the post game is over, I check out.
But I mean, I feel like the NBA has become this thing where the trade deadline is, I don't know. It's almost like we we'll sit and fantasize about what player is going to go.
It was
where.
capped this year.
Yeah,
Let's call it spade is fade, whatever the phrase is.
nothing.
It was capped this year.
Nothing earth shattering happened at the trade deadline. This
It
year.
really didn't.
Marc Gasol is not the same player in 2019 that he was in 2015.
No, I mean he's decent, but he's not.
I think a lot of casual fans might not know that.
Yeah, I mean he's missed the last 2 years, almost completely the last 2 years. But I mean, getting him,
he was starting to get it going at the beginning of this season. Him and Conley's still hooping. Yeah, and then Noah, man, had a great night last night. I shared that with y'all. He had like 19 and 15.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah. So and then they got, oh man, these names are more difficult, Jeremy. Who did they trade for? It was Gasol and my man's with the beard.
Mm-hmm.
I feel terrible right now.
CJ.
No, they traded Gasol for my man's with the beard.
Oh,
Jonas,
yeah.
Valanciunas.
Yeah, Jonas Valanciunas.
Valanciunas. I was just about to say.
I
was like, what is this?
Yeah. I was now about to say Vucevic or Miricic,
Bogdanovich
or Vucevic. I was like, no, he plays. He still plays for the Magic.
or
Miricic got traded to Milwaukee.
Right.
Vlade Divac.
Slava Medvedev.
Peja Stojakovic.
For Slava Medvedenko.
Vladimir Vucevic.
Yo, shout out to Stephen A. Smith, man. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith.
Shout out for real.
Man. Dang, I don't even know where I was going. Oh yeah. Nothing really happened, man. Like we said, like nothing earth shattering. I think people don't realize how good Valanciunas is. Valanciunas is really good. So when people are like, "Oh, Toronto, they're looking serious," I was like, Valanciunas was really good.
I wouldn't say. I don't know. He's kind of in this situation where he doesn't really fit the NBA today. I mean, I like Valanciunas and he has a role, and I think he could, if given the right situation, he's not much different than Steven Adams.
Yeah, I was about to say he kind of reminds me of Steven Adams.
He definitely has.
He kind of plays with a hammer.
Yeah, he plays with a hammer, but
yeah.
With what Toronto is trying to do now, and with the teams they're going to be competing with, that's not necessarily what they need.
Yeah.
So maybe it was time for a different direction.
Guy who can handle the ball and
be able to pass it a little bit and be able to shoot a little bit, and that's what they got in Marc Gasol. And I'm not going to pretend like Marc Gasol is what he was in 2015, but he definitely his experience level and his toughness in the playoffs will be an asset for them. Not saying that Valanciunas didn't give them that, but like I said, Marc Gasol is a little better shooter than Valanciunas is.
Sometimes people get the two Gasols a little bit mixed up, Mark and Powell. Sometimes they do kind of get them a little bit mixed up.
Well, I mean, Mark was better than Powell for a few years.
For a few years there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he still is because, Powell's our old man now.
He's like 40. But,
yeah.
I mean, those two guys have had great careers. I mean, and even with that, like, I still don't see Toronto winning the East. I mean, so that's why that's what we were saying. It's like, we talked for 3 weeks about the trade deadline and nothing. I mean, okay, say Anthony Davis does go to the Lakers. Are the Lakers beating the Warriors?
No.
Hell no.
No, not a chance.
And it's crazy because everybody was talking about
no.
Markelle Fultz. And
yeah,
people talk about a lot about Atlanta and its lack of media and pressure that he had in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I think it's Orlando's way more low key than Atlanta.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
It's crazy to think about because you would think like Atlanta's on the bottom of the totem pole the way that a lot of national people talk about it, but Orlando gets no attention. Like
none.
Like Mo Bamba, like the number 5 pick number 6 pick of the draft was like. You know what I'm saying? And trade discussions, and nobody talked about it on the national level.
The last time Orlando,
it was mentioned on Twitter like twice, and that was it.
The last time Orlando was relevant was when they was playing in the finals against the Lakers.
And even then, they didn't get respect. Like people,
not even locally.
People act surprised when Orlando was really good that year, but they won like 60-something games, and they were good the entire year.
All those guys could shoot threes.
All those guys were great players.
Except for Dwight Howard.
Yeah, I mean, and that team was built like that team was great. I mean, that was a great basketball team.
It was built around him.
Yeah. And nobody knew it, and everybody seemed shocked when they got to the finals. I was like, have y'all not been paying attention?
Like a lot of people were definitely not watching basketball.
I listened. Sorry, I listened to the Winging It pod, and a lot of times I feel like Vince Carter said, "I've never made it that far in my career." Where he's talking about like the finals. Mm-hmm. He was on that team, wasn't he?
I don't think
he was on that team.
On that Orlando team.
Yeah,
I think so. I think so. I got to
year-
go back.
what
and
year
I
was
guess-
it?
Our 09, 09, 20,
Yeah, that was 2009 because
08, 09, yeah.
2008 was Lakers Celtics, 2009 was Lakers Magic, and then 2010 was Lakers Celtics, the rematch.
And that 2010 one was one of the better finals in recent memory.
You know what's also so
I think
interesting?
it's probably my favorite finals that I can remember.
Right. You know what's also so interesting is that you mentioned
No,
how
Vince Carter wasn't on that.
he wasn't on the team.
Oh,
I think he came later.
Dang.
Oh,
When they started to decline a little bit, when he was on that team when Dwight started having the issues with
Oh, okay.
Van Gundy.
You know what's so interesting
I'm
about
sorry,
that?
Vince.
Yeah. You was talking about the trade deadline and everything like that. Like, I feel like, I just look at the NBA trade deadline, and they was talking about this all week, like how the NBA trade deadline has kind of like passed Major League Baseball's trade deadline as like the best trade deadline in sports. And, I think, to a certain extent, I feel like that may somewhat be true, but on baseball's trade deadline, like I think like there was like maybe like 5 or 6 trades that maybe went down like the day of the NBA trade deadline. Whereas with baseball, you can have as many as like 10 or 11.
I definitely think the NBA has the best trade deadline, just because the movability of players is a little easier.
I think, but baseball, like a few years ago, like baseball used to have like league shifting moves.
Yeah, and
even though it was fewer,
Mm-hmm.
like baseball will always have only like 1 or 2 deals, 3 deals at the deadline. But the deals will be huge. Like Mark Teixeira to the Braves was huge, or Mark Teixeira to the Angels was huge.
Yeah.
Like that shifted like the entire.
but
Mark Teixeira got traded a lot.
Nomar Garcia Parra to the
teams
Cubs.
aren't-
That was huge.
Teams aren't willing to give up prospects like they were before because they're starting to see.
Oh yeah, like shout out to the Braves for holding it down and that getting Ramalto.
Realmuto.
They were trying to
Philly.
Yeah,
they were trying to rob the
They
Braves.
wanted Ian Anderson and I like,
they
man.
wanted Christian Pache,
Yeah.
Ian Anderson, Kyle Wright, and
yeah.
Austin Riley. No,
Del
no, that's a
Demps-
catcher.
Del
No,
Demps-
Del
we
Demps
want,
their GM now?
no,
4 of the top 50 prospects in America.
no.
Like for one
For one guy,
For one
my
dude.
catcher.
who was on the
For a catcher.
Marlins, man. Like
No.
anybody from the Marlins, like
You can't be that good, bro.
Shout out to Yelich and all those dudes, but
No.
Yeah.
when you can't win more than 10 games in 162 seasons,
And you can't get fans to show up to the joint.
Now, I'm gonna say this. I like Rio, whatever his name is.
Realmuto.
I like him.
Realmuto.
But he's a catcher. A catcher can only give you 120 games tops. Okay,
Right.
he's young, so he's gonna play a lot. But catcher's a position. It's almost like a running back. Once
Yeah.
you hit 30, you start to decline.
Yeah, not everybody.
Why am I giving you my 2 first-round picks for the last 3 years, my best hitting prospect, and my second best hitting prospect for a guy that may play 4 years for me?
Yeah, not everybody
No.
is Mike Piazza. Not everybody is Javi Lopez.
And he
Not everybody is Jorge Posada.
Rio Muto is really good, but he shouldn't even breathe air with those guys in his mind.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
So no, and the Phillies got him for so much less
Right.
than what they wanted to get.
what they wanted from the Braves.
Yeah, I was like, are you afraid of the
Did
Braves?
Machado already get traded?
No, he hadn't signed with anyone. Him or Bryce Harper.
Or signed? Yeah.
No,
I know Harper.
The Yankees offered Machado, I believe, $220 million.
And I
Yeah,
think
something like that.
I think the Yankees.
That's more
offered-
than what the White Sox offered.
I think that's just a leverage play
That's
by
a-
Machado's
Money.
agent. That's see what the Yankees offered us. That's why it got out so quick. I think I think he's looking for $300 million, but I don't think he's getting it because
And you
not
know
working
Bryce
on
Harper is
300
following
million.
how much these teams are offering Machado, because how much is Harper going to be worth depending on what Machado signs for?
if I were Harper, I would take his deal first because what he doesn't know is that Machado's more valuable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bryce Harper brings to
Machado's younger.
He brings popcorn to your franchise. And he brings pop, and he brings what do you call it? Swagger, I guess.
Attention,
But
eyeballs.
if you really want to be honest, I mean, Machado's the better player, and he plays every day. I mean, and I can't say Harper's going to do that. And the last couple of years, their Nationals went the way of Harper's attitude or his mood at the time. When Harper was all in and ready to play baseball and he was engaged, the Nationals were contenders. when he was disengaged and he started to have an attitude, that's when the Nationals started to fall apart.
I think it's funny because like before the season, he was like he talked about free agency and he said this is the last time I'm talking about it this season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like he didn't want it to be a distraction, and then he was kind of distracted all year.
Yeah, he
Seemed
played like it.
because
So,
he's very frustrated at the plate. I just saw a bunch of clips and highlights of him just upset.
he didn't have fun this year.
Yeah,
He
in a home run derby.
He had fun. That's what I'm saying.
In a
That-
home run
we
derby.
see what he's capable of when he has fun.
Yeah.
Now, if that's the Bryce Harper I'm getting, I'm all sign me up. 'Cause
Right.
That home run derby was crazy.
Yeah,
man.
that guy's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But when he's like he was last year, but then that's what I'm afraid of. Like when you start to sign these big, gigantic contracts like this, the guys
Yeah.
are asking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball is not a game anymore. Baseball becomes a business. It's
Yeah.
a business anyway, just because you're making
Uh-huh.
millions of dollars to play. But
Right.
when you're a $300 million man walking around one of these major cities, you got ad agencies coming after you. You got endorsements that come along with that. Then you got fans booing you every time you strike out. Okay, so if you
Yeah.
make $300 million and you go play for the Yankees and you go 0 for 15 to start the year,
Right.
do you think they're going to take that lightly?
Oh heck no! Look at the way they got over Giancarlo Stanton.
You're going to get booed. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't. And in Washington, no disrespect to their fan base because they're a great fan base and they've done great, but they're not going to boo Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper has been. They waited for Bryce
He's
Harper.
been their franchise ever since. He's been the most important player to hit the Nationals franchise ever since they moved from Montreal
Yeah.
in 2006.
Yeah, I mean, and they waited for him for a year. Like they knew they were going to get Bryce Harper when they got that first pick that year,
Oh yeah.
and they waited and waited, and they were patient. And
And he was a superstar waiting in the making. Like they knew when they drafted him, they knew he was a superstar. And it also helped in terms of the Derby. It helped that it was in his backyard.
yeah, I mean, and those fans love him. So if I was Bryce Harper, if I'm not going to somewhere, I'm not going to a big market. I'm not going to LA. I'm not going to New York. I'm not going to Chicago. If I was him, I would go to San Diego Padres,
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta Braves.
Mhm.
I wouldn't even go to Philly. Or
Philly's a big market.
Braves get a lot of attention in baseball. It's a
They
little
do.
different with
But
baseball in Atlanta and basketball.
I'm just talking about as far as the fan standpoint, because
Yeah.
I don't know how he would react to a fan base that holds him accountable when he doesn't show up.
right.
And
'Cause
where
he-
there's a media that holds him accountable, because that's one of those things that in Washington he can get away with that in Washington.
Even though the media is tough in
Yeah,
Washington.
no, I mean, I heard him catch a lot of flack in Washington.
Yeah, I mean, you remember that's a clown question, bro. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how he's going to react when the money he makes and the attention he brings starts to become a thing that people start to say, well, you're doing this, you're getting this amount of attention for this, so you should be performing better. I don't know how he's going to react to that.
Here's the thing.
He strikes out a lot.
The
so-
worst place that he could go to, in my opinion, is Los Angeles. And here's why.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Los Angeles fell in love with Yasiel Puig. And a big reason why the Dodgers did the Yasiel Puig trade to Cincinnati was because they wanted to free up salary space to get Bryce Harper. Say they sign Bryce Harper, and then, like you said, he has a stretch where he goes 0 for, and he hits like maybe 210 or 220 his first 2 months in LA. He's not going to be able to get away with that in LA.
No.
They'll run him on the 405 and out of the city.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. We've seen this experiment in L.A. with Manny Ramirez. When Manny Wood was popular, Manny
being Manny.
he had a great half of the second half of the year, but nobody remembers that beginning of that next year, do they?
No.
How he
I just
struggled.
remember that.
He
first-
struggled, and people ran him out of town.
Right.
Matt Kemp, big time star, he had that great year.
Mm-hmm.
Ran him out of town.
Came back.
He came back and had a great year, but
As
you know,
an old man.
yeah, as an old man. But when
As
he
an
was
old
young,
man,
when he was a star, he struggled, and they ran him out of town.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
I think with Matt Kemp, maybe Manny, but I don't know so much Manny. And then
Puig, definitely.
they got lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt Kemp dated Rihanna. That ruined his career.
Yeah.
Yasiel Puig had that. He had that like kind of Jeremy Lin type following when he first made it
Yeah.
on the scene, and he didn't even know English. he definitely got lost in the sauce.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Because this man's like,
Puig your friend.
you're like, man, I didn't even, I don't even know English. I got all these girls on me, all these women. Y'all see a Puig, I'm balling out.
And he became a platoon player.
And he's going to and that's why I feel like the Cincinnati thing is somewhat of a bad fit for him, because Cincinnati is blue collar.
Oh yeah,
Cincinnati's
absolutely.
blue collar. That's not L.A.
If you don't hustle in Cincinnati, you're going to get booed.
Oh yeah, for sure, because Pete Rose, Charlie hustle.
Oh yeah, that whole the Big Red Machine. Those guys were known for going through
Johnny
walls
Bench
to win games.
Right.
So that's their culture up there, and they love their baseball.
Oh yeah.
So
that's the city that invented baseball.
Yeah.
They credit
So,
themselves as inventing baseball.
If Puig go up there and don't act right, he'll be gone by deadline. But back to our original point. What we were talking about was the MLB trade deadline.
Uh-huh.
I don't see those kind of moves being made no more at the MLB trade line. That's why I think, like I said, the movability of the NBA, because teams are willing to get a guy out of there that doesn't want to be there. Teams are willing to take less and draft, and then we can trade draft picks in the NBA. You can't do that in baseball.
So there's no more Garcia Parra type deals when he went to the Cubs. Really, when you think about it, it's so interesting because I remember that was 2004 when that happened, and everybody was hyping up that Garcia Parra trade like, oh, that's going to be the trade that gets to the Cubs the World Series. But actually, that was the trade that won the World Series for the Red Sox that year.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, teams value prospects now, and the scouting is so good that, these guys that are projected to be good usually turn out to be pretty good.
Yeah,
it's not like it was 15 years ago where you're literally just throwing darts in the dark hoping that you hit something. These guys actually know, like, they've been trained throughout their lives to be professional athletes. So it's easier to project now. So I mean, I can see a lot of teams like Rashad said. I applaud the Braves for just standing pat,
right,
and not going out and making no moves because they didn't really need to. I mean, they need a number one pitcher, but I don't know.
Rashad, Milligan, Ian Anderson on Peachtree Hoops right now.
Look at that plug.
Get that plug in.
Before we get out of here, let's talk about the All-Star. Like, what are you?
Oh yeah.
Did you guys like how
the teams were picked?
Yeah,
I like that.
I do. Too.
I do.
I didn't think. I was like, why don't you just have East and West? Like, I wanted to be a grumpy old. But as I was watching the draft, I was like, yo, this is really interesting to see. Like, what would happen if you had a pool of NBA All Stars and you picked
right.
them. And it was really interesting to see that D'Lo didn't go last.
Right.
But and then seeing that Kemba Walker was picked last out of the starter. So I like both of that.
Yeah, I think it spices it up a little bit because it creates all sorts of interesting scenarios. Like imagine if among that pool of all-stars, LeBron picks Kyrie Irving to be on his team.
He picked all the players who had player options. He did. Every player that's going to be a free agent this summer is on LeBron James.
Yeah, so someone pointed that out in the comments. I saw that.
Yeah. Right.
So I mean, and I liked it because I think that both teams represent their captain's personality.
Yeah.
If you look at Giannis's team, a lot of those guys are just kind of low key guys.
Yeah.
Just play ball, and you don't really hear much from them. LeBron got the cool kids.
Yeah. LeBron got all the flashy dudes.
He got all the.
He got the biggest name. Like he has Kawhi at the 5.
Yeah. He got all the cool kids, man. So,
Wait, Kawhi's a cool kid?
Yeah.
Kawhi does not have that much of a personality.
No, I mean, but Kawhi is cool.
And he's a free
he's
agent.
cool, yeah, but like he's not flashy.
He's a free agent.
He's not like Westbrook type flashy.
But he plays in the 6. He plays in the 6.
And
like
anybody
who's cool
playing in the 6 will do that to you.
And he's one of the top. I mean, he's widely considered a top 5 player. Like that's when I think of the cool kids, I think of everybody's on this guy. Everybody likes this guy. I mean, nobody's talking about Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
Even though he's a really good player.
That was so like he's such a loyal dude. I don't think he'll ever leave because like once Don Maker got traded, he was talking about how much that hurt him.
Yeah.
And then he was talking about a couple years ago how he'll never leave Milwaukee because they were the ones that give him a chance. And then he takes Chris Middleton with the first pick of the reserves.
Yeah.
I don't think Giannis is ever like that. That's just his personality. He's just like a very connected person.
Yeah, and I think that the NBA needs guys like that. Now, don't get me wrong. I've said this, and I don't know if I've said this in the past, but I've definitely been against like the guys teaming up. I hate that. But the league survives because people move. like if the Warriors were just the same team the entire time, like they would have won how many championships by now? I mean, we need that movement to be able to create. Like for Kevin Durant to go somewhere from Golden State, that would hurt that team, but then make an opportunity somewhere else. And
it creates buzz.
It'll be interesting. Yeah,
it creates
like
buzz. And that's the thing that the NBA does better than a lot of other sports. They create lots of buzz. So the idea of Kevin Durant going to whether it's New York or whether it's going to wherever, it creates buzz. And it gets people talking. Yeah. It gets people talking.
I mean, I've never been more excited for a basketball season than when LeBron went to Miami. I was like, I hate this team. And they're not going to win. They're not going to beat my Hawks. I don't care what they say.
Right. But it made it exciting because
it was fun to watch.
It made it exciting because it gave you somebody to root against. It gave the NBA a villain, a heel. Yeah. It gave it a villain, and that's what made it just so interesting from that point. All right, that's another episode in the books, episode 97 of the A-League Show. Once again, as always, thanks for tuning in, thanks for listening, and thanks for following us as always. So with this one about to be in the books, let's get on up out of here, shall we?
RashadMilligan.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Oink Oink Zoo Pals.
This is Jeremy Johnson, Clark _Kent _75. Get my Superman on.
Akeem Balaam, Twitter, Graham, Beyond the W. Check it out, and don't let the ATL dating curse get to you. There's somebody out there for you as well. Happy Valentine's Day.
Y'all must thought that I was gone with spread the whole time. Diamonds they wear like go fishing. Y'all don't want friends, I want Audis. I don't want cars, I want Rarries. I don't want friends.